LGBT. Let me pause it. Okay, hi everyone. Can you hear me? We're good. The owl is functioning. Can you hear me now? Creates that background.
Rocco, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can't hear again, bro. Can you someone say something on your side?
Can you guys hear me? I see everybody. I hear everybody.
It's coming from his computer.
No, it's not. It's coming from
Is it coming from the owl? It's not us.
I can hear you. This is Lily. Hi.
Okay. Somebody want to speak again?
Can you hear us now?
I
Yes.
can hear you. Yes.
Okay, maybe mute yours, Michael. Because I think
I
I'm
mean-
getting a feedback from somebody.
Maybe it's me.
Oh, yeah. I
Okay,
have all my audio off and unmuted.
okay. How is it sounding now? Okay to everyone?
Better.
Yeah. Okay. Rocco, can you just say testing?
Hi, testing, testing. Can you hear me? Yes.
All right. Michael's very clever. He turned up the elephant.
We're done.
How come it's so slow? Okay. Are we good? We should be good. Okay. We're gonna go ahead and get started. We're gonna start off with introductions. And I will say one slight amendment here. We need to switch the secretary for tonight to Philip, who has volunteered to take notes for us at this meeting. So thank you very much, Philip. We appreciate it. Everybody's kind of taking a turn. That helps out a lot. Okay, so
Just Kat, since it's my first time, help. What time did the meeting start? Did we start? Has it
we are
started?
starting the meeting at 2:34.
Thank you. I don't see Joe. Is Joe here?
He is not on yet.
I know I'm supposed to take attendance, so I'm trying to, I
But
only,
we'll go through it verbally as well.
oh,
We
see,
have some people here.
that's why you have
So-
that job. Thank you.
Yeah, Chair Kat Odell, I am here. Do we have Vice Chair Michael?
Present.
Hi, sorry, this is
And what?
to interrupt you, but please remember to all commission members to keep your cameras on, and then when you're doing your roll call, if you can please identify whether or not there's another adult in the room with you, or if no one else is in the room with you. Thank you.
There's a reminder that just there's an adult in the room. That's as loud as it's gonna get.
That's as loud as it'll get. The air conditioner is loud and hear you also. If I do this, that just means talk louder if you don't mind for my old ears. So identifying if anybody's in the room, commissioners keeping their camera on was what I heard, correct, Lily?
That's correct. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so Joe is not here, it looks like yet. Shanda.
Brack.
Shanda, sorry, Shanda. Shanda is here present at the meeting. Yeah, you can see her on the little picture. And Sandy,
I'm present and there's no other adults in the room.
thank you. Philip, are you here?
Present, no other adults in the room.
Thank you, Rocco.
I'm present. No other adults in the room.
Rick,
Present, no adults.
fantastic. And then let's see, do we have Beth here? I see her. Beth, you're on mute. There we
I'm
go.
present. Thank you.
Are there any other adults in the room?
No, there are no other persons in the room.
Thank you. Okay, let's see. Is Camaron here today? Don't see him yet. Anyone else of our ex-officios present?
Yes, I'm here for DHER Director Brenna Hashimoto. No one else is in the room with me.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm here, Diana Felton from the Department of Health on behalf of Director Fink and also on behalf of Thaddeus Pham, who's our usual designee, but traveling this week.
Oh,
And no one-
welcome, Diana.
no
I
one
don't think
else
we've
is-
seen you before.
Yeah, nice to meet you. No one else is here in the room with me either.
Thank you. Anyone else from the ex-officio list?
Hi, Kat. Not sure if you got me in. Kristen.
Oh, hi, Kristen.
Sorry.
Kristen is here.
Yep. No, and nobody else is in the room over here.
Wonderful. And then let's just have anyone else introduce themselves. I see Adrian,
Yeah, hi. I'm
Representative Tam.
yes, no one else is in the room.
Thank you. Welcome. All right, that looks like everyone. Is there anyone not on camera that I missed? We're good? Okay. Just telling you, in addition to the air conditioning, there's some kind of a drilling going on in the hallway, so this should be super fun.
Hi, one other thing, I see Kathleen's AI note taker, the otter.
That's mine.
Okay, can I remove that?
No, we can't. It causes the recording to stop.
Oh, I see. Okay,
We're actually utilizing those notes.
okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we will start out. Is there any written testimony? No, I don't see anything. So let's start with our ongoing business and updates. Commissioners, do you have any shares or concerns?
Okay.
Sure, Michael.
Happy LGBTQI Pride Month, as well as Happy Indigenous Peoples' Day. The one thing I did want to bring everybody's attention, if they had not seen it, is that the Liquor Commission, as well as Scarlet, have come to an agreement that needs to be settled, that needs to be voted on by the city council. So that will be coming forward. There's going to be other things coming out of that decision that should help with things with the Liquor Commission, with the what they brought forward to them. Everybody just needs to understand that the Liquor Commission is still going to be going through their processes to change their administrative rules, which does take about a 6-month period from the beginning. Any type of rule change takes 6 months on average, as long as there's nothing controversial in that. And so that will be an ongoing process that if those that want to be involved in that and submit testimony in support of making sure that their rules are in line with our non-discrimination policies for the city and county of Honolulu, as long as also with the state of Hawaii. So that's still ongoing for anybody who wants to follow along with that. And just a reminder that October 28th is the last day to register to get your ballots mailed to you. You can do that online or paper form, must be received by 4:30 p.m. to your city, the Office of Elections or your city clerk's office. And we'll cover the rest of that, I think, the remaining of the agenda.
Thank you, Michael. Other commissioners, shares or concerns?
I have something.
Yeah.
I just wanted to bring attention to a conference that is scheduled in June. It's called Gender Journeys Day. It's a day-long conference for healthcare providers, educators, and families in Hawaii on gender affirming care for keiki. So for anybody who works with gender expansive youth or would like to work with gender expansive youth or who knows any gender expansive youth and families, it is genderjourneyshawaii.org. It's a partnership with a bunch of stakeholders here in Hawaii with Stanford Children's. They're helping us get off the ground.
What was the date on that?
June 28th.
And is that an in-person conference?
Yes. In person.
In person only. Thank you. Other commissioners, shares or concerns?
Kathleen, I just wanted
Yeah,
to say that a thank to all the people who walked in the AIDS walk this weekend. And also just to bring people's attention, there was a very well attended and very successful big event, the Universal Show Queen. They said there was over 1,000 people that attended. It's been going on for quite a few years for the trans community. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Rick. Other shares and concerns from commissioners?
Well, I would like to follow up on Rick to announce who won, just for the record. Caramel Flavor. She is a Filipino drag performer / trans woman from Hawaii, and she won USQ.
She won what? Sorry, say it again.
She won the pageant that Rick was talking about, the Universal Show Queen pageant. So I just wanted to put that in the record.
Fantastic. Lots of good sharing. I like it. Anyone else? All right, terrific. Then how about public testimony? Anyone from the public? Shares or concerns? Okay, then we're going to jump right into our Pride Parade preparation and logistics. So where and when are we meeting is the first thing.
Okay, everybody, it's in your board packet as well. Everything's this Saturday, 2 p.m. Beginning meet up for the Magic Island. We will not know your unit number or location until after when I get there to sign us in. After that, then we'll be able to, I'll put that out via text to everybody. And then again, all the other data is in your board packet about parking route. We have 2 vehicles, and so I'm still looking for a driver for the second vehicle. So if anybody,
I have a car.
that's what I mean, that's what I'm looking, yeah. I have your wife driving your car,
Yes, she will.
and then I just need a driver for my car.
Oh, yeah.
So, ideally not one of the commissioners, because we still need 2 people confirmed to carry the banner, which we got today. And then we also have the 4 magnetic signs for 2 for each of the vehicles. And, remember to wear comfortable shoes.
Who's carrying the banner?
We don't know yet. We'll figure that out.
Oh,
So,
okay.
So, I know I'm walking, Philip, are you coming?
I am coming, yes, I will be there. And yeah, I'm happy to walk. I kind of hurt my knee last week, but I think it'll be better by next week. But I'm a trooper. I'll make something work. But I'll be there, yes.
I'd like
Rocco, are you
to
coming?
request a seat if possible. I'm a type 1 diabetic. I just worry about my blood sugar getting low while we're walking, so.
Well, we have enough seats with the 2 vehicles.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Rocco, are you coming?
Yes,
Are you gonna be able to
I'm planning on coming at this point, and I'm happy to walk and hold the banner.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Or part of the banner. How big is the banner?
Oh, I have the banner here. I'm gonna go home and see if I can put together polls and stuff for it.
It's whatever size I believe you suggested, Rocco.
Gotcha.
And how about you, Rick? Are you attending?
Yes, but I'll be riding, please. Thank you.
And Joe says he's coming and he's gonna be writing, and Shanda, are you able to make it?
Oh, yeah, I'll be there.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Okay, great.
Carry banner.
Okay.
2 p.m.
Michael,
Mhm.
Michael, if you need a driver, I can drive the vehicles if you don't have a driver.
Okay, great. So 2 p.m. meet there to decorate the vehicles, as well, and then everybody, you can't be there by 2, everybody needs to be there by 3:30, we step off at 4. And again, it's a little over 2 miles, less than 2 miles, and it should be a lot cooler, because of the later day starting, but you still have the heat from the day on the asphalt coming at you. So, and I think that's about it. Well, I will have rolling cart with the speaker for music. Or, yeah.
Michael, question, for the car that I'm bringing then, should I be parking it somewhere special or just,
Where I tell you, wherever we're gonna meet, because that's where you have to be in the line.
yeah, okay, so get there, park somewhere, get out, find you.
No,
No.
you're gonna get there and where I tell you where we're gonna be meeting.
Oh, after you get there and check
Yeah.
it,
So, yeah,
okay,
because they have to be, put all the cars on the line,
okay.
in with the line.
I'm
Michael,
gonna
do you
do
want me,
this.
Michael, do you want me to bring a case of water?
I have water, it's already chilled in my
Okay.
refrigerator outside, it's already been donated.
Thank you.
And so we have enough water, so I'm good with that.
And do we need any other, do you want any other people, marchers, walkers, anybody to help besides, if we can find a driver, I'll call you with that, but
We can have, anybody you want to invite to march with us is more than welcome to, just a reminder of the parameters, no political shirts. The only thing allowed right now is a yes on one, that's when it comes to campaigning of any kind. Nothing else of anything pro-partisan or candidate wise, since we are part of the state government. So, like, we'll have to cover the bumper stickers on my family's car.
And so that goes with any friends and family that march with us as well. So nothing.
And nothing that would give the impression that we are endorsing a candidate or going against a candidate or a political party.
Or a political party. Rocco has his hand up.
Oh, and just trying to get a sense of attire. What are we all agreeing to? I know it's hot outside.
Whatever you want to wear. I don't, whatever
A
you're
shirt is
comfortable in.
necessary, correct?
No,
Okay.
No, okay. I'm gonna go with Mrs. Roper style rainbow attire.
Yeah, there you go.
That's my plan.
Okay, I just wanted to know if we're setting parameters on what we need to put out there.
however you wish to express yourself as a commissioner.
Got it.
And Rick,
if we have yes on one signs, should we bring those?
Sure. Since we've endorsed it.
and Diana says in the chat, DOH is planning a walking contingent at the parade. Wonderful. Hopefully we'll be somewhere close to you all.
And the AG's office has their contingent, which will have a vehicle, and other people. And so DOH, AG's, and I'm not sure who else from state government.
Fabulous. I just admitted someone who's labeled Zoom user. Would you mind identifying yourself, please? Okay, then I'm gonna go ahead and remove. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? So I'll send out an email reminder to all the commissioners. So please read it.
And we do have, make sure that we're all going to the right email addresses. Everybody getting their emails okay, Shanda? Are you getting yours okay? Okay, because Shanda and Philip both have new email addresses from those that we originally started with in our email chains. So we just want to make sure that we are including the new ones so they don't get left off of anything. All right. We've got slides, decorations, preparations, public testimony on any of this? Okay. Fantastic. Then moving on, discussion of the legislature's Equality Caucus with Representative Cam, who is here tonight.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having
Hello,
me.
welcome.
Hi. So right now we are going to have the Legislative Equality Caucus continue to advocate for bills in the upcoming legislative session. How it works is that we start collecting submissions for bills to include in the caucus package through other legislators and community groups outside. And then when we get the bills, each member of the caucus gets to review them and vote for our top 3 or 5. And Whichever bills get the most amount of votes will be introduced by the caucus itself. If your bill doesn't make it on it, you can try find another legislator to advocate for it and introduce it on their own. But that's how it's going to work this year. We have a number of bills that have been introduced last year that didn't pass. Those are House Bill 2078 and House Bill 2079. House Bill 2080 turned into a different bill. So you can basically, because that's already going to be on the ballot, you can delete that. But right now, I can let you know that we're mostly focused on because it's election. We haven't even asked any of our members to re-enroll in the Equality Caucus yet, so we're not really going to move anything solid for the Equality Caucus until the election, which is only like 20-something days away. But I highly encourage the commission to start talking about legislative bills that they want the caucus to introduce or to fight for. I don't know how the commission wants to go about that, but it is your prerogative. How do you guys want to do it? That's all I can talk about.
What's the maximum number of bills in the House side for the Equality Caucus?
Well, at one point it was 5, and this past year it was 3. So it's going to be up to whoever's speaker to determine how many bills we can introduce.
Who else has questions?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Michael?
Yeah. Thank you for being here, Representative Tam. And also we will send you, we are beginning the process today. There was a preliminary list sent out in our board packet with some of the ideas that were funneled through to me, to the board, so the commissioners could look at those, and we're beginning that process. Once we come up with our list, and we will shoot it to you. And then you also have access. I could also send you the link to the board packet so you can see what has been sent to us already for our preliminary review.
Okay, go ahead and send that to me. Do you have a rough estimate of what day you intend to send over the list of bills that you want that the commission is going to put forth?
A list of bills. We don't have to have the bills created yet, just a list, right? Is that something we think we might be able to manage today?
Probably not. My better guess is we'll have it to you by after our November meeting.
That's fine. That's totally fine. And I would say that, try to introduce some bills, and if there are some bills that you don't think that it will make it to the top 3, try to get into the governor's package or find another legislator to
Michael.
we're also open to any resolutions that you think would be worth us looking at too. Doesn't have to be bills.
And Representative Tam, did you say that you don't currently have any other bills besides the one that you were speaking of to be introduced by the caucus? Are there other proposed bills that we might know about so that we're not redundant in our work?
If it's redundant, just submit it anyway, and then we will filter it out on our end if it's like the same, or merge them together if there's only small differences. We do have the gender affirming care bill from last session. It was the most controversial one from our caucus. So I will put that out there. It didn't make it through the Senate, but we'll see how it goes this year. If we decide to introduce it again.
Thank you so much. Other questions?
This is just we've already taken a proactive stance on the gender affirming care bill. We are supporting that. But we have amended it to remove the testosterone, since that So we stuck just with, turning Hawaii into a gender affirming care state. The same way we did, you all did with, right to abortion access. With
Correct.
SB 2,
Yes.
SB 1. So yeah, so we just took out the testosterone since that tended to be one of the more problematic sections of that bill that was introduced last session.
Okay.
And I can send it to you as well, because we already have a draft of it.
All right. Yeah, just send it over.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Representative Tam. I really appreciate you taking the time. You're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting, of course, as we discuss everything else, but if not, we look forward to getting these things to you after our next meeting in November.
All right. Thank you, Kathleen, and thank you, everyone, and thank you for serving. I'll have to be hopping off. I have to go to another meeting. Take care.
Thank you. Any public testimony? Don't think I see any actual public on this meeting today, so this, but I suppose I should still ask. Okay. Update on the hiring process for the secretary position. Did Kristen hop off already?
I have, yeah.
You have it, Michael? Wonderful.
Unfortunately, the one person that was on the list last time accepted a job with another state department. So they're sending over list 3 now. So again, so that just remember, this is staying in continuous recruitment until they fill the position. And so they're moving things forward as quickly as possible. So reminder just to send the, if you haven't sent it out recently, send it out again to your lists of asking people to apply. Again, it is for a Secretary 2 position, which is one of the reasons I think we're having difficulties finding people to apply, but it does come with great state benefits.
Also, it's in person.
I'm sorry, what
Yes,
did you say?
100%.
What was the last thing, Michael? I didn't hear you. It does come with.
Great state benefits.
Diana,
So
you have
does-
your hand up. Oh, sorry, Rick, I cut you off.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Rick, and then we'll move to Diana. Rick, what were you saying?
My question was, are we still considering the 90-day temp possibility? Is that a
The
Kristen
89-day
question?
hire, the 89-day hire is still on the table. They're just working it. They ideally would rather have a permanent person.
Right.
I just wanted to ask, is this a permanent
Thank you.
position or is it temporary?
Permanent.
Thanks.
Thank you. If you know someone, please. Anyone else? Okay, update on the commission's logo. So in the board packet, if you want to refer to that. Michael included something. I don't see, let's see, Cameron's not on tonight. No, we did reach out to, the student is from the LGBTQ plus center at UH who designed the logo. And so we did reach out to them and they weren't available to attend this meeting, but we're hoping that in the future, we'll be able to bring them on. Michael, did you want to say anything about that?
No, well, I hope everybody looked at the description. It went very basic with the top of the thing, but also since part of our thing is to educate everybody, since there were some questions that, especially about the design. So everybody sees the evolution of the pride flag from the first time it was used to where we're at now. And Gabriella did give us permission to credit her in the with her design. And so we'll be using the idea is that the longer piece will be on the stored on the website, so when people look at it, they can be on the as along with the shorter piece as well. And then we can use the shorter piece when we roll it out in other formats.
Anyone have anything else to add to that? Public testimony? I think our logo looks amazing. I'm really, really psyched about it. So I'm excited to see it in the parade. So that will be the unveiling for sure. All right, let's see, update on the commission's webpage. So we have the basic of a web page now. I don't know if everyone's had a chance to look at it or not. Does anyone want to give any feedback as we're updating?
Depending on what happens later on in this meeting, we're sending some other updates to them. I would like my first name spelled correctly, so that'll be one of the updates.
Is it not on the website? Oh, I'm so
And there's
sorry.
it's just Missy Junior, it's fine.
Oh.
So and I figured we'd wait and not take care of that with any of the updates that we might be doing from today's meeting. So.
Thank you for your patience on that. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Is
Was
it
there a-
correct on our?
So it's correct on everything else, it's just, yeah.
Was there a link sent out for the website? I guess I missed it.
I think it did go out in an email.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll double check.
I don't think I got it either.
I don't think I didn't get it either.
I got it.
You can pass it around.
Some did and some didn't. Michael or Shanda, if you find it, do you mind linking it in the chat?
Oh,
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Can I recommend that we post a link for the job, the secretary position on the commission website? I don't see it there. And the schedule.
Oh, they did, they've gone in and they've changed them, so yeah, so still Missy Junior, but that's fine. Here's the link, I'm gonna put it in the chat.
Thank you. Has your name come?
Scott Davis.
Oh, yes.
So Missy Junior, so I'm gonna be sending some updates anyways to you.
Okay. All right, thank you. Update on.
Kat,
Sorry, go ahead, Philip.
So I just, not a complaint, just I did go to the website and I discussed, I think I let you know, I wanted to look at minutes from previous meetings, just since I was doing minutes today. I only see August. I see the August agenda and the August minutes. So I don't know if I'm navigating something wrong or it's just hasn't made it up there yet, which is fine if we haven't done that, but it just, something didn't look right to me.
September didn't make it up yet because I have to go through or somebody has to go through and find the times of all the votes that
Got
wasn't
it.
recorded.
But
by
July
me.
wasn't even on
July, I
there.
thought it should have been.
Unless I just, somehow didn't click on the right thing.
No, the problem is they need, for us to be in compliance with the sunshine laws, we need to have every meeting. Like you see agenda minutes and at the top, you need to have the agenda, the minutes. As well as like we don't even use this YouTube link. So there's some other updates that need to go in there because we're not in
Okay.
compliance with sunshine law right now. So no, if you go look at the, to give you an idea of what we're gonna be shooting for is if you go look at the Fatherhood Commission's commission page where it has every month and you'll have the agenda, the minutes, board packet as well. Because those should be linked for every meeting. So, and ideally, once we get the secretary in there, that this will be something that's taken care of on a monthly basis.
Right.
Once-
You.
Sure. For sure.
Well,
Rick, go ahead.
thank you. So there should have been the July meeting that we did at the Olelo did have agenda, did follow the agenda. Votes, the attendance, the motions, the seconds, all that information, and it was on the old webpage. It was on the original one, but I don't know why it wasn't. It was, so those two, so the August meeting, Philip, won't have the because we didn't have a video of that meeting, have that. So July should have both the video and the minutes August will only have written paper minutes, which is different than what we're going to be doing from now on. And September hasn't been completed yet. I understand. So that's in the process, I guess. I don't know. We can ask
I
Kristen.
remember seeing July up there as well, and then initially
It
when there was
was.
nothing else on the website, I remember seeing the 2 links.
Yeah, so it was there. I don't know where, but you're right, Philip. It wasn't on the, just an oversight, I think.
I have it down on the things to check for the website. Okay, regarding the press release or press releases, let's talk about that for a few minutes here. We finally did get the one out of the pride flag ceremony that many of you attended. Did all of you get a chance to see that article? The press, okay, good. But Michael, I know you had asked about the Yes on One press release. Has it gone out? I asked again today, and the response I got from Amanda was, "Aloha, Kat, I'm sorry, I don't understand your email."
I'll
I said,
resend it.
"Can I get an update on the press release submitted for Yes on One?" She didn't understand that.
Okay, I'll resend it.
I would appreciate that, Michael. Because this is, I guess, the protocol, so we have to go through that channel, so we want to make sure she understands. It could have gotten confusing when we were sending, because there was more than one at the same time that were written, I don't know. But we do definitely want to get it down, so I appreciate you following up on that. Anyone else, questions about press releases? Philip, and yeah, Philip has done a lot of work.
Thank you. And I'm still not clear on whether I get that the press releases go to the press. Do the press releases go to local county governments? Like is the Kauai mayor, the county council members, et cetera, like I think it's really important that they are informed of these things. And I know I mentioned before, you know, when this all started happening, I emailed my local county council members in the mayor's office. I didn't get a response from them, which I'm a little disappointed that I didn't get just some like, wow, cool thing, awesome, didn't know about that. But I do think that the things that we're doing, I think county officials should know about. Do we know if those press releases are sent to the very, very, very local governments? And if not, can they be?
We don't, and I see that you emailed and there was no response. Because you did ask that question, or you, let's see.
Right.
Yeah.
Historically, they do not get sent to, they get sent to news outlets only. They do not get sent out to the county government, the counties.
Okay.
So.
And is there anything wrong with my taking them and forwarding them?
No, like we said last time, once they're out there, deal with them as you see fit.
Okay, thank you.
And that press release is available on the governor's website, governor's press release website from the governor's office. Governor.hawaii.gov.
I know that when we were in the midst of the day of the ceremony and we had the other event in the evening and things were crazy, I was getting video calls from Amanda to take pictures of the event and to give extra additional information. So I wasn't completely clear. I thought once we had submitted the press release that we had written, that would have been it, and it would get, amended and released, but there were some extra steps in between apparently. And Amanda did say, can we have a meeting? And I have not had time within the time period that once she said that, I haven't had time to meet with her. I'm not exactly sure if have misunderstood. Kristen's not here to verify. I thought that we had this down about the protocol for this, but maybe when we email her again, copy me on that, Michael, and see if she needs any clarification or meetings about what we should be doing.
Okay.
Anyone else on press releases? Big thanks.
I have a question.
Yes,
Can I
Sandy.
can I get those sent to my KHON2 email whenever they come out? Is this an appropriate place to even ask that?
Can you get all of our correspondences sent to?
No,
everyone?
the press releases, like when they're sent out to media, who would I contact about getting that sent to me, to my journalist email?
Yes, that's Amanda. She did send us a list of possibilities of how do you feel about me sending out to these people? And Philip replied and did a little research on some of these audiences. Right, Philip?
Yes.
But I guess she would be the one in control of where it's going in the list. That we want
Amanda,
to do.
okay,
Yeah,
wonderful, thank you, I'll contact her, thanks.
sure. Or maybe, you know, if you want us to include it in one email, so there's not like a lot of different emails, no, separately, Michael? you
Just let
said?
her do that.
Let her do it, okay. And this says Sandy do it. Thank you. Okay. Update from the commissioners on their actions in support of constitutional amendment question number 1, protecting marriage equality. Brainstorming.
So I am working on an article with KHON, interviewed the Vote Yes campaign persons earlier today. And so that article will be coming out on the 18th, the day that ballots come out. And then we'll do a follow-up 2 weeks out from the election itself, the deadline, just to keep that conversation going.
Fantastic. Thank you, Sandy.
Kat?
Yes.
I didn't really know what I could do, so I've only been participating. They have a number of sign waving events where they just go stand on the street. So I did Kaneohe, which wasn't very good. There were only 4 of them.
Wasn't there what?
It wasn't very well attended. There were only 4 of it. And then I did the one in Ridge, but this past week. So they are looking, they're still having a couple of them. There's a couple coming, and on the website, they show where they are. So you just stand there, and the good thing, response from the motorist has been overwhelmingly positive. Nobody gave up. Things like that. Good.
Okay, great. And those are the signs that you said you'd be able to get a hold of for the parade, right? Yes, okay, super. Others? Michael?
As you see in your board packet, I did do a draft of a graphic that you all are free to use. Along with that has all the links to stuff that all the information that people need to know to make sure that they're registered to vote. Ballots are supposedly going out in today's mail, so they'll be dropping. They have to drop by the 18th by state law. So if you haven't signed up to track your ballot, so you know when your ballot's mailed to you, hopefully you'll use today as a great opportunity to do that and encourage all your friends to do it as well. I had an op-ed printed today in the Civil Beat. Well, it was on Yes on 1 and Yes on 2. So there's that, and working with other people to get asking other people to submit their op-eds. Again, someone said something they didn't know what they could do. Again, you have titles, use them. Write letters to the editor. You haven't written a letter to your county's paper of record, do that today. Get it out there. It doesn't have to be long. Most of them have, 150 words or less for letters to the editor. This is our brainstorming time. Since the Yes on 1 campaign isn't doing any phone banking, everybody pull out your cell phones and go through yourself and start texting your friends. Doing that, and that's one way of doing it. Just encouraging everybody that way, using your own personal social media platforms to push that message out. Since they're, again, text banking, turning your own cell phone into your own phone banking, making sure you go through everybody in your thing, making sure, because a lot of people still don't know that this amendment's even happening. And so, like I mentioned last month, nothing's to change if we lose it, we're gonna lose it on the blank votes. Because like we said in the first meeting, And a blank vote counts against us, just like a no vote. So using all of your connections, all of your things, and I'm like, when people are like, oh, I got married, I throw up one of the things when I'm like, here you go, and someone goes, well, I don't like politics on my thing, and I'm like, well, without politics, you wouldn't be able to get married. So, yeah, especially if you know people that do marriages, that they need to, they should be some of the biggest advocates on this, because to help protect their businesses sometimes. So again, you have titles. Anything yes on one, go use them. And so submit. And to get letters to the editor, they're gonna want a different perspective. It's from for the Star Advertiser, whatever, reaching out to get other people to do it as well. Once you submit yours, get other people to submit their letters to the editor. And the other thing is to go in and comment on this when you see these things, is go out there and keep the thing alive. If you want to comment on the civil beat piece that op-ed that went out today, to make sure you get it bumped up to the top, one of their top 10 things, so it gets more traction on it. Share whenever you see anything with yes on one out there. This is campaigning 101, everybody. Just, it's ABC, always be campaigning. I will say I've been to a couple of different meetings in the last 2 weeks, and I've had to be the person to bring it up when I was supposedly in rooms with leaders within the yes on one movement. So, on your lunch breaks, whatever. Because again, like I said, we're gonna lose this on a blank vote. You know, it says, if somebody doesn't turn around here quick.
I can tell you that several of the commissioners, I know Philip, Rocco, and Shanda have put things on their pages that I've quite happily stolen and shared around. So, and I noticed that they were very good, because they all said, yeah, a blank vote counts as a no. So I'm not sure where you got them. I saw a number of different ones, but I was able to pass those on to my few Facebook friends too. So it's good. And Kat, I think you did one too.
Did what?
You posted something?
Yeah. I was.
Well, I just want to say, Michael, this graphic is amazing. Thank you so much for providing that, because I know how to share things. I do not know how to make these things at all. So it's very helpful to me if they're ready-made and I can just share it out. That's awesome. I'm gonna attend the LGBTQ plus center at UH. They're meeting this Thursday to talk to students. I also have many students, more than 300, who I tell all the time to vote generally, but I will be able to talk about yes on one specifically at their meeting this Thursday, LGBTQ plus center. So that's what I'm up to. Any other ideas?
In addition to obviously sharing personally and with as many people as I can professionally, I will also be discussing this at the sexual and gender minority work group meeting, not until October 31st, but better late than never. And so hopefully they will all share with their respective groups.
At the last sign waving I was at, the groups that showed up were the Hawaii State Teachers Association, the University of Hawaii faculty from IT and International Student Experiences, and the Civil Rights Commission. So they all had people there. We were a small group from Kailua, 4 of us from Kailua went, but there were several people that went down from other organizations. I don't know any other organizations that we could approach. I wish I could think of some.
Other organizations that would you ask for that we might talk
Yes.
to?
Yeah, well, for example, we know that we just had the film festival, and I was a little disappointed that I didn't see, front and center, a lot of campaigning going on. There might have been some though. I don't think anything went on at the University of Queen. I don't know about the AIDS walk. I think that the AIDS walk, they did have a table. Don't know of any big events coming.
If anyone thinks of anything between now and our next meeting, it'd be great to share that out. Okay, update on Commissioner media and marketing materials, and this is a good segue into that, so that we can get the word out about our commission. So designing business cards and letterhead. Is that something everyone would use if we did that?
Well, we definitely need letterhead.
I don't know, and Kristen's not here to ask, but I don't know how official it has to be, like, I can create a letterhead with our logo. Michael can do it better than I can, but with our logo at the top, but is that something that has to be like official and run through any channels, you know?
Well, as long as you don't use the state seal, we're fine.
Oh, okay, so we can use our own logo. Okay. Would anyone like to volunteer to create letterhead with our logo?
I'll jump in once.
So between Michael and I, one of us will be maybe doing this.
I can work on that.
You can work on it. Oh, Shanda, thank you.
So I will do the best.
What should we include on our letterhead then besides the logo? Our website address,
Email,
email address,
since we don't have a secretary, that's it.
Um,
And our mailing address.
what is our mailing address? The meeting address?
Well, whatever address is on,
I don't know if we
it's
have
on
a
our
mailing
web,
address.
it's on our URL.
Is there any line in our mission statement that you want to put in? Is there any line of the mission statement that you would want to have, like underneath the letterhead, underneath the, if not, don't have to.
There's something that jumps out. I think we need to come up with a blur, shorter thing, but I don't think today is the time to do that. I think everybody needs to put on their thinking caps and come up with a under 12 word verbally
Tagline,
tagline.
tagline. And it can always be amended, right, Shanda, after you work on it, like we can take a look at it and that's great to have something.
Do you
The
think it
business
should,
cards, go ahead.
do you think it should be in Hawaiian?
Well, how about we come up with, we figure that out later. Yeah, because we're gonna have to need to have it properly translated. You cannot use Google Translate.
Okay, so, the business cards portion of this. I think we're probably gonna have to end up ordering from like Vista Print or one of these places, right? No, we can't.
Gotta do procurement, everybody. And
So we
that,
have to get quotes on it.
yes,
And if we want-
unless somebody's gonna come up with a design and everybody go and get some printed, those who want to get it printed themselves without getting reimbursed.
we'd have to make a different, we have to do individual ones for every commissioner.
Or we just do a general.
I mean, that's much more affordable and easy to do if we do a general one. How does everyone feel about that?
General
Or
as,
oh, go ahead.
well, just general, not name specific? I don't know what general means. Then what, whose email address and phone number is gonna be put on it? Yours, Kat? So if I give it, to somebody, then they're gonna call you? That doesn't make sense to me unless I'm missing something.
We only have one email address for the commission generally, so it would go to that general Gmail address, which I'm looking at it now, future commissioners will be looking at it later. Should we offer, here's just a suggestion, should we offer to, do a general one, but then we have the layout for it, so if anyone wanted to personalize it on their own? Or should we, what do you think?
I think that's great,
Would that be okay?
because then we can hand out those, the general ones at events, like at the table. And then we could each, because I'd be happy to buy my own business cards that have contact information for me, but sometimes I'm just gonna wanna hand out information about the commission generally that doesn't necessarily come to me. So I think both is right.
That's a good point. You may want to direct people to the commission, but not necessarily give out your own personal email.
I'm gonna vote that direction too.
Rocco too.
I don't like business cards. I would happily give one out that is on behalf of the commission, but I'm not gonna carry around a stack of individual personal cards like that. So I like that idea where we have something that goes to the commission versus a bunch of individual ones.
I mean, I can create a business card pretty easily. I can say this on Canva, right? And then I could share the design with everybody. So if you wanted to, you know, design one, put your own name in it, we could do that. Is that something that, Sandy?
Yeah, so does that mean what you're saying, giving us the ability to use the logo? So I use an app called Hi Hello to use the to give out business cards, because it just has like a QR code that someone can scan and it puts my information into their phone. So I can use the logo on my Hi Hello account for one of those cards.
And as long as there are no other logos that go with it.
Okay, yeah,
So
it'll
like
be
you
its
can't-
own.
So like if I couldn't have that with my private work one, it's on the same thing. Using
Right,
myself
right,
as an
yeah.
example.
Okay,
like
yeah,
the
Hi
QR
Hello
code.
lets you do individual cards for each, what, you know, like, so I have one for, you know, news, one for film, one for Olelo, so I'll add one for the commission, so as long as I have permission to use that logo.
And is that a logo that comes on one of those little square cards, or it's just something you're showing them on your phone?
Yeah, you show them on your phone, and what it does is they scan the QR code and the business card comes up on their phone and they can save it to their contacts.
Wow, that's amazing. Do you mind putting a link in the chat for that one?
Oh,
for
yeah,
everybody to
absolutely.
Check that out.
Yeah, it's actually an app that you download in Play Store. But I'll put
What
it
is the
in,
name of it again?
I'll put it in the chat, the name
Thank
of
you.
it. You're welcome.
So it sounds like everyone likes different options for business cards. So if we can make it as flexible as possible, maybe that would be the best thing. So the app, the QR app that you're talking about, Sandy, is there a cost to it?
No, it's free. I mean, you can have an account with like, you know, premium stuff, but you don't need it.
Okay. Well, we can work on getting a design with the logo. And then for the next meeting, maybe share that design out, the business card out, and then talk about how many we might want to order. Would that work? Anyone want to add to that?
I just want to ask about, since we're talking about the logo, can we get logo files, you know, like the actual, like sorry, my tech, you know, high density, lots of, you know, so that I can put it in my email signature, or I can put it, if I post something on social media, can the student that did that create those and give us access to some of those?
We already have them. I am always apprehensive of giving out logos to everybody, just because without parameters established, but since we haven't established parameters for a logo, if that, because not that I don't trust you all, I've just seen things happen with people throwing logos on whatever and thinking that, whatever. So if you want them, if the chair says so, I will share it out with everybody. We already have it, they're already ready to go. But one of the things, thank you for bringing it up, because it does bring up the idea of that we do need to set a logo policy.
Yeah.
That we're setting up at least a general standardized thing that logos can only be used for X, Y, and Z, no smaller than, keeping it with the general without going, because if you look at some other nonprofits and other NGOs, whether they have, it could be a 3-inch binder on their logos. I'm not saying do that. I'm saying something that sends general parameters. So because we don't want you just throwing the logo up on social media, maybe, so it doesn't get tagged to something else.
No,
Yeah. And I'm not, yeah, let's do a policy. It's not a rush. It's just, yeah, let's talk about it maybe at our next meeting. Or I don't know, coming up with, there's got to be a template for logo policy, you know, we can dig one up and then see if we can tweak it to suit us. But yeah, it's not a hurry.
That would be
If I
great.
heard correctly, Philip is willing to do that.
Would you like to find said policy and add it to next meeting's board packet?
I live to serve. Yes, I will do that.
Well, I will add it to the agenda and I appreciate that very much. Because I wasn't even thinking of any of that, but yes, that really makes a lot of sense. Excellent. Okay. All right, so anything else for media and marketing materials? All right, then let's move on to number 10 here, discussion and vote on whether to authorize, and first we're discussing, whether to authorize a letter to the Attorney General requesting that a commission member become a representative on the task force created by Act 156 FLH 2023. So this is one that a discussion we did not have before because not everyone was here. So who would like to open this discussion?
I'll go.
Michael.
The task force, just because we asked doesn't mean we're actually gonna be granted a seat on the task force. The task force does not actually dissolve until 2025. The task force was, the original impetus for this whole thing was to deal with queer issues when it comes to birth certificates. And it was sort of co-opted throughout the legislative process. And while there may be some queer people on the task force, there is no guaranteed queer voice within the task force itself. While they have their final report being brought up, should things happen, and as anybody who's been to the legislature knows, they can always go through and amend it and bring the task force, continue the task force depending on how far they get along the legislative process. And so, because there are still so many different things going on in regards to surrogacy, gender identity, with regards to birth certificates, that this is something that we, not having a guaranteed queer voice, at least on the task force. I don't see this being a negative about, at least just making sure that they know we're paying attention to this task force and that by making the request, and if they say no, they say no, but.
Other thoughts? Rick?
Yeah, I've seen that they've already completed their report. Now, so and maybe I'm not understanding what the task force is supposed to do. My understanding was their report, which now goes to the legislature, and that draft has been done. So I understand what Michael is saying is that perhaps next year they might revitalize this task force. I did talk to the woman that works with this task force, and they actually don't plan on hardly meeting at all next year unless they do get revitalized. So that would be something that would come at the end of the next legislative session. But she said they aren't planning on changing any members next year because they don't think it's kind of a moot point. They said it's basically not going to be meeting during January, February, March, April, May. And they didn't think that they were going to be doing anything during that legislative session. So I'm not sure. I mean, but I'm not for or against it. I thought we were maybe going to be seen as adding an unnecessary delay in getting this report done. But it seems like that's not the case. The report's already done and going forward. So I don't know what work that there is going to be. And I didn't know that Thad was planning on leaving, or Jeff Esmond, or the other LGBTQ people that were on it. Members of our community are actually on that board, right? they're in that task force. So right now there are LGBTQ representatives, but again, I mean, I don't know that it would hurt anything if we send a letter. And I mean, it would put our name on it, so we get credit for, and maybe we wouldn't have to do very much and still get credit as, you know, endorsing it. That might be a good thing. So either way.
Well, task force following through on what they're supposed to be doing, it's not just submitting the report. The task force is supposed to be also supporting the legislation that they're requesting out of them as well. Because and just being a member of the task force doesn't automatically mean that we're gonna support whatever bills come out of this. And maybe this task force will pick up one of the areas on our legislative priorities, so, or maybe not. And it's okay if we go head to head against them on something, because at one point they did want to turn birth certificates into a DNA marker kind of thing. So, which anyways, we're not gonna really debate that today. But, yeah, it's again, making sure that we're supposed to be the central location per our statute. This is fulfilling the requirement of section 1 of our number 1 of our statute of the things that we're supposed to be doing with regards to state government. So
When this task force started, there was no LGBTQ plus commission. So,
we did exist.
Right.
We just weren't here.
oh, gotcha.
There were no commissioners, but the task force, the commission didn't exist.
And now that there are, I agree, I think it's right that we should have representation. Philip?
Yeah, if I understand, you know, this is kind of, a lot of this is new to me, task force legislation, so I'm learning, but when I hear it, it just feels like it's really fitting for us to at least request to be there. It's almost, in a sense, to me, it feels like bad show if we wouldn't, like, oh, I guess they don't really, I mean, right, we've been asking, or presumably this commission has been forming for a long time. People have been saying we need this, and here it is. And then if we don't even say, you know, can we please be there? It almost looks like bad show to me, in my opinion. And the other thing is, yeah, it would be somebody collecting data and meeting people and taking a pulse on what other people are thinking and what's going on. And so I guess I don't see a negative to asking, you know, could we send someone?
I think the only reason I wasn't supportive of this is because the reports actually, you can go online right now and see their final report. It's there. So they're already done. What they're doing, and when I read that thing that Michael had sent around about the task force history, full function, the purpose, the mission of that task force, which is time limited, was to prepare a document that had to go in time for this session. It had to go in, I believe, next month. Is that right? They said before the start of the new next legislation. So the report's done. You can look at it. You can pull it up. And so they said, we've already written the report and we sent it on. So we're joining the party after the work's been done. But but you're right. If it is going to be somehow revitalized, then I would say absolutely 100% we could probably have somebody on it. But to go on after so I don't know that we are supposed to do anything. And also I would say, those of you who have more expertise should probably review that draft legislation. It's about 3 pages or 4 pages of a report with 4,000 words. It has a word count at the bottom. And I started reading it, thought in the thing. But it's definitely something we should look at. But but the train's already gone. So I'm saying, given that there's nothing we can do at this point, but either way, if we want to do it, at least it puts our name out there on something. And it puts our name on something where we won't necessarily have to do very much. So if we just want to make sure that our name is getting out, that's again, either way, but I'm just where that now now you can look at the draft of the final report, even as we speak, you can pull it up. And it's interesting.
Okay.
A lot of it is legally.
Okay, Rocco has his hand up.
Just if it is the case that that has already been drafted and sent on, is it worth our time then as a commission to individually read through it and all of us go to a vote whether or not we want to support it? Or maybe we would have recommendations that we would send to that task force?
I think whoever would be appointed to the task force from this commission would certainly be reading through it and perhaps debriefing us. Does that sound right? I don't know that we all have to read it and weigh in on it.
And
If we, go ahead.
Hold on, when Shanda wanted to say something.
not to Robert's question specifically, but just to weigh in on the issue in general. Yes, it seems like it's a done deal, which it probably is. However, in my experience, oftentimes task forces and committees can roll over and become something new, be revitalized into a new process, and then we're kind of already there. Or if something changes and more is required of them, then we're not scrambling last minute trying to add ourselves. So yes, us requesting a seat may be entirely moot. However, I think it is worth it.
I don't think there's a downside. I'm sorry,
Do
what?
we need any further discussion before we vote?
Oh, I don't think so. I don't think there's anything negative about it. So I don't know that, but there's nothing negative. It doesn't hurt anything.
Okay, then can I have a motion?
So moved that we send the letter.
Second?
I'll second it.
Okay, Philip, it's 3:43. Can I
Cool.
have everyone who supports say yes?
No,
Aye. Oh, sorry.
anybody objects to the motion as stated?
Oh, anyone object to the motion as stated?
Anybody abstaining?
Any abstentions?
Motion passes.
Then
Don't say
it
that.
passes
There you go.
unanimously.
There you go.
Unanimously passes. 3:43. Thank you. All right, we're getting this down. We're getting there. Okay, commission social media comment policy, and Michael provided a very nice one in our board packet. Michael, just so we know, was this something that is an example that you took someplace else that's already being widely used, or? Because it looks good to me. I read through it. I was just wondering if it came from, if it's already been tried and true, tested and all the things.
I took most of this from the NOAA, their comment policy and just queered it up. And so coming from another state, a federal government perspective, yeah.
Anyone who read through it have anything to comment or discuss? Everything's good? Thank you, Michael, for doing that. Much appreciated. I thought it was comprehensive. I didn't find any.
I move that we accept the policy with the understanding that the blanks will be filled in should social media platforms be filled.
I second. This is Sandy.
Okay, is there anyone who objects to how the motion was worded? Any abstentions? Then that passes at 3:45.
And just so everybody understands, this is the policy that will be posted to our website. Everything after please see State of Hawaii's policy, privacy policy for more information. Everything, all the rest of that will be posted to a social media platform at some point or another. So people have that as a reference for our comment policy. It may be the first time but like with Facebook, you have that, you could put this as a standardized piece with the page. Not so much with Insta or Threads, but you can post it at least once. It's on that format.
Thank you. Okay, discussion on the creation of commission's Facebook, Instagram, Threads, other social media platforms and accounts.
Wait, I have a question.
Yes, please, Philip.
We just voted on 11. Did you just skip 12? They look similar, but they're not the same.
Oh, yes, I did. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Thank you for catching that, Philip. Goodness. You're right. I was reading right past it. Number 12 is commission's social media posting policy and procedure, which is in the board packet as well. Anyone have any discussion around that?
Again, well done, thank you.
This one's important. I'm giving you all just a second to look over it if you didn't read it already.
And just so everybody understands that if anybody were to ask something to be posted from the LGBT organizations out there, that they would be denied, that would be denied to us. Because for those of you that are not familiar with LGBT, they don't think that the TQIA should be part of this, and that they're, they just had a conference over the weekend, and they got JK, yeah, that wonderful, as their speaker, as their keynote speaker. And because she's anti-trans, anti-gender, gender diversity. And so, not to be pro whatever, but some transgender activists released thousands of crickets into the auditorium. But that's a whole side. Anyways, not that I'm advocating for that as my position as a commissioner. So anyways, so just if we're looking at like parameters, that those something from
Has to be in line with our mission.
our mission as set in the state statute, so
Yes.
we would not be posted, even though it comes from they definitely don't like the word queer. So anything from the LGBT groups that we would not be posting because that violates our mission statement. And so,
For that clarification. I think that's important.
like, oh, but it's gay.
Can I ask, in regards to the social media platforms that would be directly from this commission, what kind of state, Hawaii state events would be posted on there? Is it just stuff that we would be supporting, or would that even be something that we would be posting on our page? Just like if there's things going on inter island for different LGBTQ events, especially fundraisers for nonprofits, is that something that would be shared?
Not a fundraiser. We can't use state government that'd be a violation of our ethics code. We cannot use state resources to benefit for a fundraiser for one nonprofit over another. That's the reason it specifically says in there that, so we can tell about a program, and as long as the fee is just to cover the production of the thing. So if it's a fundraiser for something, no. But if it's to go to a conference or it's a luncheon and it covers the thing, then we could do that. But if it's like a chili and rice cook-off, chili and rice thing to raise money for a nonprofit, we could not do that because that'd be a violation of the ethics codes and we can't.
So would the AIDS walk have been, could we have posted at the AIDS walk this weekend?
Because you can do it for free, you're not required to pay, yes.
That's good.
Is my understanding. Lily, did you agree with that or no?
Yeah, I think that, as long as you don't use state funds, you're correct. You cannot use state funds to benefit another private nonprofit. You're correct.
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Lily.
Yeah, as far as your there was a statement, and I'm sorry, it was kind of breaking up for me, about doing something at the parade. hosting something at the parade? That wouldn't cost anything?
The AIDS
I-
walk.
The AIDS
The
walk?
eight,
Said it's free to, you don't need to pay to do the AIDS walk. We would be able to do that. Post about the AIDS walk.
Yes.
But if it was like a foundation dinner for $250 a head, we wouldn't do that because all that is a fundraiser for that organization.
Yes.
huh,
Okay, what about like the legacy gala?
mhm.
I didn't use names on purpose.
I see.
So we couldn't do anything like that. That's a fundraiser, and they make it very
It
clear
is,
it's a
isn't it?
fundraiser.
Yeah, okay.
Well,
So we couldn't do that, but we could, like, their movie nights, stuff like that. If it's something that we, yeah. So,
I see.
hmm.
Okay.
So,
just so everybody understands, and the parameters of this, that, again, and it is in order when it comes to posting, of course, us being that's the top priority. And, or events and programs that we are co-sponsoring. And then reposting, and this is following our legislative mandate of the priorities as we head down. And so reposting the general state, county, and federal information and programs would be like foster parents, looking for foster parents and getting queer people to sign up for that, because it may not be queer specific, but in the long run, it does have an impact on the queer community, because we definitely need more queer foster parents, foster families. And signing up for adoption, those choices.
Great. Oh, Rick has his hand stand up.
I guess when I'm thinking about these things and how they work, one of them, for example, it's not the Life Foundation, but the housing program that they're affiliated with has an event where they honor people in the community. Joe's house, they honored a member of the community who had just passed away, who had been a longtime supporter of housing for people living with AIDS. There was a price, money was going to go to housing for people living with AIDS, but it was technically a memorial event to honor a member of the community, which is, well, I guess my question is not each individual one, but how can we look at each individual one if we have a question? Let's say we wanted to support, or we got a request to support an event. Would there be, who would we discuss that with if we wanted to review that?
It would be this commission, you have to bring it, so you'd have to, so these are the kind of things you can't ask for a last minute, they have to be added to the agenda for review, should it be something like that. That would be reviewed by this commission for us to make the final determination, but my gut reaction to what you just talked about is a fundraiser for that organization. And yes, they are, that's how they raise money, by honoring somebody, by getting people to show up and go to these dinners. If it's a fundraiser, then no. If it's a movie night with a cover charge to cover for the cost of the popcorn or whatever, then that's fine. These are the way it just because they've couched it because, oh, we're honoring X, Y, or Z, and it's still $200. That's a fundraiser.
Yeah. Okay.
And there's no
Makes sense.
workarounds on this.
Yeah.
I'm not going to jail.
Yeah.
I'll send Kat to jail.
No, that's probably
Yeah,
right.
think
Right?
so.
In the end, it's up to me, take the fall. Okay.
I have a question. I just
Sure.
want to, yeah, I just want to make sure that I'm clear. So I get, we're not talking about our own individual, my individual Facebook or Instagram, that we're talking about official. So who's posting these, you know, like who, the magic secretary that we don't have, like who is going to be the one that's going to be looking at this and saying,
You're
oh,
jumping the gun.
That's our next discussion topic.
That's why you're jumping the gun. It's already listed on as an agenda item.
Okay, sorry. I just, I feel like we're like hashing it out whether I can or can't, and it's like, well, it's not me anyway, so.
Well, let's talk about that next, if everyone's okay with that. Let's move on.
Oh, wait, Kat, we have to vote, don't we have to vote on 12?
Yes,
Yes, we do.
I move that they
Good
get
catch.
the
I second.
Any objections to the motion as worded? Any abstentions? The motion passes at 3:56 PM. All right, discussion on the creation of commission's Facebook, Instagram, Threads, other social media platforms account. Who is volunteering to do all of these things and what will they be doing?
The reason I had this put on the agenda is because I'm willing to do this to start kick things off, and those three are integrated into themselves, so it's not a lot of extra work. I'm already doing it for other organizations I work with. Luckily, I'm rolling off a couple of them soon. So, yeah, that's the reason I put Facebook, Instagram, and Threads. And like I said last month, we're gonna learn to walk before we learn to run. So that's why we start off with those three. Doesn't mean that that's where we stay at. And again, one of the things that I've said to other people, just make sure that if you have an idea and you want it done, I encourage you to volunteer to make that happen. So that's the reason I'm volunteering to take the lead on this. Because about a lot of the other things we've discussed about is getting the message out there is that we need to have a way, or at least initiate it so people can share, and again, this is a great way for us to let people know that we exist, so we don't just have meetings where it's just us commissioners. Yeah. So.
Outside of those three things, I don't even know other social media, but TikTok, that's all I know, so.
All right, it's a
Just
lot.
tried so many things I don't know, so. Rocco.
So if whoever decides to take this on, would that be the channel that each of us individually would email with ideas or, hey, this is happening on my island? Is that something we can support and share? Or does it need to be put on the agenda for the next meeting? What is it casual enough to just send it to Michael if he's gonna control the social media?
So
You just approved a policy about posting.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about it, but you just approved it. On number 12.
Yeah.
But I would say like,
Procedure.
wouldn't it be, Michael, if there was any kind of question that you would bring it then to?
If there was, if it didn't meet any of the criteria, or I couldn't discern it from the policies that we set in place. Or if you don't like if I was saying, no, we're not posting this, then you send it, we forward it to Kat, and then we put it on the agenda to have a discussion if you want to. And the same thing with our, like, if if we block somebody from our social media things, that this, what comes back to this board, and this board, the commissioner, we as a commission decide. So, yeah.
Okay.
So.
That's it well with everyone, because, yeah, I mean, we definitely want to be making these decisions by a policy and together, right? So. The policy is solid. But there may be some things that are, gray.
And I will always err on the side of caution, especially with the brand new commission. It's one that's been established.
And we can always come back and modify policies as needed if things come up that are not what we had anticipated.
Good point.
Yeah, my really only concern is the person who's running it understands that things like Instagram, you're going to reach people through pictures rather than like flyers and logos and things like that. So that's really my biggest input.
So maybe those are the kinds of things we might want to submit, right? Pictures.
Okay, you just wrote it on. Anyways. Okay.
Our
So I move
participation in the parade.
we authorize the creation of Facebook, Instagram, and Threads for the commission.
Wait, hold on. Did you just make a motion?
Yes, I did.
I see somebody who joined, who's joined as a
Oh.
guest. You wanna take it?
Mika, Welcome back, Mika.
Members of the public or any guests?
What did you say, Lily? Sorry, a little louder.
You have on your agenda, public testimony allowed, if you wanted to take any testimony from any of the guests who joined.
Thank you for reminding us. Is there any public testimony now that we have public? Any further discussion?
Well, I need a second.
The motion's on the table. Do we have a second?
I'll
Second.
second.
Mika indicated
I'll
no.
second. Second.
Do I have any objections to the way the motion has been worded? Anyone abstaining? This passes at 4:02 PM. So we just voted on the creation of the social media platforms, right? And now how about a vote on the social media lead or leads?
I nominate Michael.
I said, I accept the nomination.
Okay. So do we need to move on that then? Michael's been nominated. Who would like to put a motion forward? that
I'll
leads the
make a
social
motion
media?
that Michael becomes our lead for social media.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
You need to take the public testimony. Sorry.
Oh, so sorry. Public testimony. I'm so sorry, Mika. And I'll watch the chat because you typed no for the other one. Any public testimony before we vote? No objections. Okay. Then, where was I with that? Do we have any objections to the way that it was worded? Anyone abstaining? All right, then that passes at 4:03 PM. Congratulations, Michael, and thank you so very much.
Cool. Should anybody else want to help out, please let me know.
I'm happy to help you, Michael.
Okay,
I can help you. I can back you up as well. So just, you know, if you need anything.
Thank you.
And-
Effort.
yeah, and on that note, that once these platforms are there, that you like them, share them, and encourage other people to do so, because so we're not just spinning our wheels and making sure people know that they're out there, and so we will be including, once I create them all, they will be, this is something we'll be adding to our website as well, all of us on these three platforms.
And can't you suggest that people like somebody's page? That's
Yeah.
the thing too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Just keep teaching the old dog new tricks. I'm doing my best. Okay. Awesome. 14, discussion of potential committees or permitted interaction groups for the LGBTQ plus commission based on the statutory goals. So, has anyone had any thoughts around potential committees or picks?
My inclination on this is that we would go to. For legislative, go to leads on legislative ideas, for somebody to take the lead on a bill, and they'd be responsible for seeing it through. With that, we are gonna have to come up with a legislative policy and process for dealing with, because we're gonna be able to act in between meetings, especially during the legislative session. About getting testimony in. Especially if a bill goes sideways on us. That the lead would have the flexibility, whatever our policy, you're gonna need a policy that allows the lead to have the flexibility to go from yay to nay, should the bill go sideways. And how we deal with that. So. At least that's what my. The first, limited actor group doesn't really give us the flexibility we need to deal with legislative, those sort of things. With the understanding, yeah. So. Doesn't mean you get to go off half-cocked. You still have to, but to be able to deal with the chaos that is session.
So are you suggesting, bill leads that would be committees or PIGs?
Just a lead, it'd be a person that, so there's no committee, there's no,
Not creating,
don't create a pig, don't create a committee, that this person. Once we get our legislative priorities, that who's gonna take the lead on whatever. That they are responsible for drafting the testimony, attending the hearing or watching the hearing, to making sure that they know how that bill is, and if it's still something that meets the criteria of what we're looking for. Usually, it's hopefully be somebody that just has some type of expertise in that area, if not, at least willing to learn, because I can tell you, when I started doing this 24 years ago, I was not an expert in any of this, and now I'm a general knowledgeist on everything.
so, if you're talking about creating.
Queer.
Bill leads, but not actually committees or permitted interaction groups. I think maybe I need to put that on the next agenda to vote on then, right?
Once we figure out our legislative priorities, so that could be like December. Who's gonna take the lead, because then, or they can, I guess, November, once we set our priorities, who's gonna take the lead, because that lead person would also either find someone to introduce a bill.
Okay.
And because like I said in the email out to everybody, just so, is that everybody needs to at least understand the legislative process. And so by November, everybody needs to have taken those trainings that if you're not well versed in the legislative process, the public access room has all their trainings, and I did send that out in that follow-up email, the BCC to everybody. That, so you, at least you're generally aware of how the legislative process works. Because sooner or later, you're gonna want to introduce something, and sooner or later, you cannot just rely on one of us to do the work for you. To be it bill drafting, finding an introducer, or following the process.
Okay, so let's put that on the next agenda, and hopefully everybody will have time to take a look at those training sessions in the meantime.
Can I,
Any question?
I would like to ask a question of what you were recommending, Michael. So we're gonna vote on our priorities, say our legislative priorities are A, B, and C. There's not necessarily a bill attached to A, B, and C. Would we then be creating a lead for A, B, and C? Or would we be creating a legislative lead for all three bills in Group A? Each
bill should have their own lead. If somebody, if they're willing to do so, it could be multiple leads on multiple bills, if they have the time. So, but at least that is my recommendation. That once we set our legislative priorities.
Does anyone have any suggestions or discussion around a committee or a PIG that they would like to talk about establishing? Not at this time. Okay, so I don't think we need to vote on that. Because, do we?
Does Mike have anything?
Is who?
Micah, have anything to say on this?
Oh, public testimony, Mika.
Nico.
Oh, and I see David has joined us as well. Any public testimony on the creation of committees or PIGs? Okay. Then we will move on to new business. Review of proposed and brainstorming for commission legislative priorities for 2025 legislative session. See your board packet for this one. All right. Mike,
Ask Mika.
what's that?
Ask Mika if they have anything on this.
Mika, do you have, anyone have any public testimony? I think we have two members of the public now.
David Rodriguez is from the Lure.
Oh, yeah, I see. Yes. None. All right, super. then, who wants to start us off on brainstorming? Did you all have a chance to review under the new business in the board packet? Do you want me to read this out loud, or do you all have it in front of you? Got it? Yeah. Do you want to go through each one of these separately? Shall we do that?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, 19 minutes.
19 minutes? Oh, okay. Number one, expanding gender markers for birth certificates. The legislature expanded them to an X as an option on state IDs and driver's license. Now we need to complete the circle. Discussion?
Can we talk about what this means? Because what is completing the circle on that? What's missing? What's still being?
This is completing the circle. This is actually finishing that process. So we did it on IDs and we did it on driver's license and IDs. There is no third gender on birth certificates yet. So this would actually complete the cycle. So while thanks to the Biden administration, they have been issuing passports with an X gender marker. We don't know if the next administration is going to be as LGBTQIA friendly, and I'll just leave it at that. Because I don't want to cross the line.
Phil, did you have your hand up?
No.
Okay. Oh, Sandy.
I just want to say, and this is not for discussion or anything, it's just for the record. I don't like the fact that the state has convoluted gender and sex on these IDs as two different things, but they're making it the same thing. And I think that's dangerous and misrepresentative.
Can I?
Yes.
So right there with you, that's a federal thing. As we found with the DOH, it's sex at the federal level, that there has been work with the Biden administration to get them to switch over to gender. But as we know, you think how things move slowly at state. At the federal level, it's 10 times as slow to getting that change. And they've begun the process with the Biden administration to start that. Of course, there is a bunch of pushback from certain people, and I'll just leave that at that as well. One of the goals, somebody did at one point submit a bill that they would require them to have, for these things that when we're talking about gender, to have sex/gender. So people know it, so when the transition does happen, they can just drop the sex part. But that bill died. We never got it again. It was a couple of years ago.
Okay. I think that seems like everyone is in agreement with that being a priority. But let's see. Should we vote on each one of these individually, or can we just go through them and vote?
Go through them and pick which ones. If someone wants to go through them all, and then someone wants to make a motion.
Yeah, let's go through them all. That's special. Thanks. Okay. Number 2 is requiring health insurance policies cover gender affirming care procedures. And Michael has added in all of the steps that it would take. Questions or discussions?
I have a question. If this is already required by the Affordable Care Act, what is it that you're looking to change?
Gender, they're not covering, it's not, the Affordable Care Act does not require transitional care. Does not require insurance companies to cover transition. Well, we did change the state law here that if your insurance policy covers it for something else, and it's part of gender affirming care, they have to cover it. So say if your insurance company covers a mastectomy because you have cancer, they have to cover it for gender affirming care. But should like hair removal, if it's not covered or anything else, it's not going to be covered here. That's what, so, like San Francisco went through and they required all the insurance companies in San Francisco to cover gender affirming care and transitional surgeries and what have you. So, well, and as you see there, this is a multi-step process, so it's not, the Affordable Care Act does not require them covering all gender. And there's a little history on this. In 2016, we passed a law. 2016, we passed a law that basically did not allow discrimination based on your gender identity. This was because members of the transgender community were being denied healthcare, not gender affirming care, but just healthcare in general because they were a member of the transgender community. And so as we went through the process, it was mentioned several times, and I've said every hearing, that this does not cover all transitional surgeries or everything that would have, you have to come back and get that. And so this would complete that process, that requiring, and be it a kidney transplant or anything else, when we have, since we have prepaid healthcare in the state, requires the sunrise on it. So you have to do all those steps. And I know that there was some pushback, since I got flamed out on this, is that that we'd actually have to go through all this, and just because someone says it's medically necessary, yes, a kidney transplant was medically necessary, but you still, if you make it a requirement to be covered, you'd have to go through the sunlight on it. And people are like, oh, I don't want that. We may get a negative response. And we know how much harder the campaign's gonna be to get it done. And so, and there's nothing in the law that tells you what's medically necessary. There's no such phrase in our statute when it comes to insurance coverage. Just so everybody has that.
And forgive me, Mika, I see that you put in the chat, I think this was related to the last one. I'm so sorry I was missing this. Because you had said, I echo your sentiments. I have seen the incongruence in many assessments forms. I would like to see this to include some education on what gender affirming care is and possibly look like for practitioners, particularly for those working in public health.
Yeah.
Comment on both. Any other clarification or discussion needed for number 2? Okay, number 3 is have hate crimes to be accurately counted.
So yeah, this law turned 23 this past June. But to this day, we do not a news organization, well, following what the FBI put out there, said Hawaii is one of the safest states in the nation when it comes to hate crimes, because we don't have it. We don't have them because how they are actually counted. Using the state is using the strict FBI that they only are going to report them once they've used the enhanced sentencing. Like there was a gay display at Hawai back in 2013 that was vandalized twice. And Abercrombie's the fag was written on it. They burnt the pride. They brought their own pride flags and set them on fire and melted them because 9/11 doesn't burn. Melted them and threw them in the display. That was not considered a hate crime because they didn't catch the perpetrator and they didn't use the enhanced sentencing. And so figuring that so we don't know exactly how big the problem is out there until we actually have the real data. And this wouldn't just impact the queer community, it impacts all marginalized communities.
Okay. Any discussion or comment on number 3? Okay, number 4 is expand the Hawaii State LGBTQ+ Commission from 8 voting members to 9 or 11. A, if 9, the additional spot be reserved for a person under the age of 35. B, if 11, then 1 member appointed by the Senate President and the other by the Speaker of the House.
most commissions are odd number. The legislature and all their wonderful wisdom left us at eight.
Huh.
So,
What does everyone think about that? And do we need to decide A or B, or just that we are expanding?
well, if we're gonna pick it a priority, yeah, we pick either A or B.
Okay, so discussions around A, B, or not at all?
Just out of curiosity, what's the reasoning behind expanding at this point? Just to set it up originally, like while we're still fresh, or was there some reason that seems to be a better number?
Well, if there's odd numbers are always better when you're making decisions, so there's no ties. Usually. And then also, yeah.
I like the idea of having a young person. I'm not sure if they tried to nominate or recruit a young person to begin with. I wouldn't know, but it would be nice to have, because I know that my students have lots of different experiences and perspectives than I do.
And should this go forward, just remember, it's gonna take 1.5 years. Because if this bill gets passed, okay, just so a new idea has an average life of 7 to 8 years from the idea hitting the legislature to it actually passing. That's the average life, what it usually takes. So if by some miracle, for lack of a better term, this bill would, if we decide to do this, that it would pass this legislative session, be signed into law. And then the governor would, or the governor in this case, if we do A, would have to a point, and then it have to be confirmed. So we're not looking again, and as we know, confirmations are not the top priority at the legislature. It would be at the end of session. So we'd be looking 1.5 years, a year. Soonest as a year, 1.5 years now.
Are we allowed to say an age when, are we? Rick has his hand up.
You can.
I have a question. It's after seeing this one, what if I liked some of the supporting the other priorities? If we don't like this one, you said we're going to vote on the whole slate at once. We have to vote on all of we have to accept all of these.
Depends on who makes a motion, whatever motion's made, and so somebody is. These are just ideas. Again, we're on the brainstorming portion of we're looking at this. These were things that were handed to me.
So we don't have to even.
Rick, your voice goes in and out. I think we're having this trouble last time too, so we missed like every 5th or 6th word.
Okay. My question is, do we have to vote on this today? Can we review this list after our discussion and then vote next time?
Yeah, but just a friendly reminder, everybody's supposed to review your board packets before, so we're prepared to, in case somebody wanted to make a motion, that we could vote on all this today. So there's no gun in our head on this one.
I did actually review these. Did actually review this board packet, and I didn't see the rationale behind this suggestion. Maybe I just missed that. Then you explained that usually that's what's done, is that there's an uneven number, and I understand it. I just it's the usual. It's tradition. Is that what it is?
Most voting boards have an odd number. Every voting board I've ever sat on had an odd number.
Okay, we can take individual votes, but I just want to make note that it's 4:25 and we have 5 minutes left. So I guess now I have to decide whether we just take votes on 1 through 4 and cover the next ones next meeting, or if we press ahead and we might go over it, but will I lose some commissioners if we do?
I'm in the mindset that we just use this as a brainstorming session, because I'd like people
for next time.
save the vote for next time.
Okay,
Because
sounds good. So be prepared to vote at the next time for these. Okay, we don't need to discuss them the next time if we do that now.
and this list isn't semi complete, that if something else you want to add to it, that when we ask for things for the board packet, just make sure that they're included. And the reason there's no rationale to these is because, for the most part, is because that it would be deemed as trying to curry favor. And board packets are not there, these are just to give ideas. This was not to set up for a vote.
Okay. Number 5 is banning gender assignment surgery on infants. 1 in every 1,000 births, a baby is born with ambiguous genitalia. Either the doctors or the parents should be allowed to decide the baby's gender. The baby needs to be able to mature, grow up, and discover their own gender. Any discussion? We're good? All right, number 6 is amending the surrogacy laws so queer and straight couples do not have to adopt their own children or child.
I don't get it. They are now currently required to, can somebody explain, please?
When you use a surrogate, you are required to adopt your child afterwards. So if you don't, it doesn't matter whose genetic material, and if you, for the, if it's for a queer couple, if you use a surrogate, you both are required to adopt that child, no matter whose genetic material you used
Okay,
to create the child under our Hawai standard.
thank you.
So, yeah. And if, for a lesbian couple, if one of you carries and you're using your egg, you're not required. But if you use IVF, you may be required to adopt, depending on how the doctor signs off on the birth certificate. Welcome to Hawaii.
Thank you.
So, and that's one of the things that hopefully that task force is supposed to be, we're looking at, whether they did or not, I don't know off the top of my head. I haven't read everything.
Well, I think it would behoove us to read the report, because I think that might be an issue that will give us some background on this. The task force report's available. You have to go to the Attorney General's website.
Thank you, Rick. Number 7, establishing emergency low barrier shelters on all islands for homeless unaccompanied minors. 40% of all homeless accompanied minors identify as LGBTQIA+.
Until last year, till this year, you couldn't have a shelter for anybody under the age of 18. No emergency shelters. They were considered, so you didn't have drop-in shelters like you see in New York or Chicago or LA or any major city.
So for unaccompanied youth, they did not. Number 8 is a complete review of the Hawaii revised statutes to go to gender neutral language and amend any heteronormative terms or phrases.
Under the tax code, it says married couple, married male and female couple.
You should see the DOE forms we fill out for our kids at school. Also state forms. Yeah.
The DOE is supposed to fix all this.
Oh, yes. Indeed.
Okay, but yeah, so that's why that's there, and that popped up because it's a tax credit for working with on this working with tax credit. Okay.
That's 4:30. They shut off the AC. It's like a loud noise. Totally goes quiet. Now that means I can hear you all, but it also means it's 4:30. So the last two, 9 and 10, if you will read them over and hold any questions that you might have or clarifications that you need for our next meeting. And we will push the rest of the agenda onto our November meeting. And I certainly hope to see all of you at Pride this weekend. And we are adjourning this meeting at, oh, sorry.
Yeah, the announcements.
What was that, Lily?
You have to vote to adjourn. You have to take the
Oh,
vote.
vote to adjourn. Philip had his hand up too. Let's, Philip.
No, I was saying.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that was a.
That's my vote to adjourn.
Okay, Philip has moved to adjourn.
I'm a second.
Any objections to adjourning? All right, then we are so adjourned at 4:31. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Don't look at
Bye.
future meeting topics and speakers,
Thank you.
Bye.
because we're definitely gonna have to figure that out for number 2.